Good morning, everyone. The recording has started, so thank you very much for joining. And as Doreen has mentioned, we wanted to begin the event with a land acknowledgement statement from the County of Simcoe. So the County of Simcoe acknowledges the land on which we gather today is the traditional land of the Anishinaabe Nation, which includes Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We also recognize the Huron-Wendat, who occupied these lands prior to the middle of the 17th century. We embrace the enduring presence and partnership of the Indigenous peoples of this region, including the Chippewa Tri-Council First Nations, comprised of the Beausoleil First Nation, the Chippewas of Arema, and the Georgian Island First Nation. We would like to recognize that diverse Métis and Inuit communities within our region, and the County of Simcoe is dedicated to honoring our Indigenous history and culture and is committed to coming together to learn, heal, and create future prosperity, respect, and understanding in all of our communities. With that, we will pass it over to our moderator today, Catherine Love, who is the Director of the Economic Development Corporation of North Simcoe. Go ahead, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen and Nicole. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Ask an Expert webinar session on how to engage local post-secondary schools in your talent strategy. My name is Catherine Love, and I'm with the North Simcoe Innovation Hub and Economic Development for North Simcoe, including Midland, Penetanguishene, Tiny, and Tay. And I'll be your moderator for today's session. Thank you for being here. The Ask an Expert series is led by the County of Simcoe Economic Development Office in partnership with the entrepreneurship ecosystem that includes various support organizations throughout the county. Over the last few years, we have been able to bring businesses throughout the county some excellent content as you navigate the current business environment. Also, thank you to our regional partners who have assisted with these webinars, the Small Business Center of Barrie, Simcoe County, and Orillia, South Georgian Bay Small Business Enterprise Center, Orillia Area Community Development Corporation, Nodawasega Futures, North Simcoe Community Future Development Corporation, Community Futures, South Georgian Bay, Sandbox Center, Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center, Georgian College, and Lakehead University. As you can see, we are a well-supported group. Through the registration for today, several of you have shared questions with us. These were provided to our guest experts, and many of the responses have been incorporated in the presentation. Some of the more specific questions will be addressed once the presentation concludes. If you have any follow-up questions at any time, please type them into the chat, and we will address as many questions as we can after the presentation with the hour we have allocated. Alternatively, you can use the raise the hand feature, and the slides of today's presentation will be shared after the event. It is my pleasure to have the opportunity to facilitate today's session, and I welcome Dr. Jessica Lovett, Director of Career Services and Co-op with Lakehead University, and Brett Wismer, Employee Relations Consultant, Cooperative Education and Career Success with Georgian College. Jessica has served for more than 15 years in leadership roles within Canadian arts and education institutions. Her expertise spans strategic planning, marketing, and communications, student recruitment and retention, and partnerships between industry and higher education. As the Director of Career Services and Co-op for Lakehead University, Jessica is proud to lead a team of student service professionals who are dedicated to connecting students with meaningful employment. Jessica earned her PhD and MA from the University of Toronto and also holds an honors Bachelor of Music from Western University. In all aspects of her life, Jessica values collaboration, empathy, creativity, accountability, and learning. Thank you, Jessica, for being here. With over 16 years as an employment relations consultant, Brett has extensive expertise in recruitment and selection, occupational health and safety, and labor relations across both public and private sectors. Specializing in industries like healthcare, engineering, IT, government, and unionized environments, Brett advises on full cycle recruitment, helping organizations identify top talent and guiding individuals toward a meaningful career path and co-op paths. Holding an executive MBA a bachelor's in human resource management, and an honors certificate in HR. Brett is known for strategic recruitment, coaching, and industry-specific insights. Thank you for being here. At this point, I'll turn it over to our experts to share their presentations with you.
Thanks, Catherine. It's always great to hear a bio of yourself. Get that started, and it's nice to see some familiar faces on the call. Some Georgian representation here too, and I know that all of my colleagues could be delivering this as well. But we'll get this started, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to share some good ways in building workforce through post-secondary partnerships. Jessica?
So happy to be here, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's so funny to hear our biographies, but really what I take from that whole introduction is what a community. We are so fortunate to live and work here, and really looking forward to, in that spirit of community, collaborating with Brett to provide some suggestions and give some information today around how those on the call can work closely with the college and with the university in this region to boost your workforce, build your workforce, and explore some partnerships. So, as Catherine mentioned, I'm Jessica. I sit at the Aurelia campus of Lakehead University, and my role is Director of Career Services and Co-op. Brett, do you want to share anything about where you're physically located?
Yeah, right now I'm physically located in Tiny Township where I reside, but my office is in the Barrie campus location in the engineering wing.
Fantastic. So together we're going to share a few thoughts. Here's the agenda. We'll talk about fast facts about Georgian and Lakehead. And then, because the whole world of student employment and work integrated learning can be complex and has a lot of specific terminology, we thought we'd go through a few definitions about various types of work integrated learning that employers can access. And then we'll take turns each talking about programs and partnership opportunities available at our respective institutions. And then we'll talk about employer services that you can access directly working with Brett, his colleague, or with me and my colleagues at the university. We'll share some information about upcoming events, and then we should have lots of time for any questions that haven't been addressed as a result of the presentation for those who are on the call with us.
Fast facts. So if you don't already know, Georgian College, we have 7 campuses, 7 locations. We have, our headquarters and our kind of satellite branch would be the Barrie location. However, we span across Simcoe County and our partners in that regard. We boast one of the highest graduate employment rates of 90.3% of all graduates. They find occupations within their careers 6 months prior to their graduation. And then 100% of our programs emphasize hands-on learning. So that's every single program of 130 programs have one facet or another of work integrated learning, whether that's projects, co-ops, et cetera. We'll talk about that a little bit more. We have currently about 13,000 students across the 7 campuses.
At Lakehead University, we have just about 8,500 students studying over 3 different communities. We have campuses in Thunder Bay, Aurelia, and Barrie through our partnership with Georgian, and soon to have a standalone campus in Barrie as well. Our students participate in more than 65 different programs, and we say we are a regional but comprehensive, research-intensive institution. You name it, we probably have a program that touches on that skill or that expertise. And we're proud to have 10 different Canada Research Chairs in our community of faculty experts. And we have been considered #1 in Canada for societal impact, according to the Times Higher Education Global Impact Ratings of 2024. The way that we measure employment outcomes for university is a little bit different compared to colleges. So at the 6-month point, about 88% of our students who are graduates have become employed in fields connected to their program of area of study. And then when measured at the 2-year point, which is how universities measure that stat, that number rises to more than 97%, which is higher than the provincial average for universities, and we're really proud of those stats and thank our communities and our students for driving them.
So,
okay. Oh, this is Brett. Sorry, Brett.
Yeah, well, no, it's okay. Work integrated. So this is just a few definitions. Right at the top, we co-ops, most people, I think, understand what that is, but it's a structured program in which students have a work integrated piece. So they're not in academics anymore. They're full-time working out in the community, typically in the college sector between 4 and 8 month co-ops. These are paid opportunities, and in terms of university perspective, they can even work up to a 16-month period where they're fully dedicated to meeting the learning outcomes of their program and working in their field.
We also have something called placements and practicum. And this often takes place in a program that is, for instance, social work or an education setting. Placements and practicums are like co-op, but they're usually shorter. They're measured in terms of hours or weeks as opposed to months in most cases, and they're more flexible in how they are delivered. They're typically unpaid because some industry regulators require that the placement or work experience part of the program be unpaid. But if there isn't an industry reason to not pay the student on placement, students look for paid placement opportunities where allowable. And the way that they engage in the workplace varies from 1 to 2 days a week to full-time during their placement term, and it's highly variable. So if you're interested in students from a certain program area and they don't have co-op, they might have something like placement or practicum, and that's information someone like Brett or I can provide when you connect with us.
And internships, unlike co-ops, where co-ops are interwoven in the academic sequence of a student, the internship happens at the end of their academics, so they finish off on their work integration, and they usually do some sort of capstone project or course throughout their internship as well. So those are paid, sometimes unpaid. We have some programs in terms of the program area, like museum and gallery studies, for instance. They work for a lot of nonprofit organizations which don't have the capability of paying. So that can be allowed. And they're typically full-time engagement for 4 months from our perspective at the college at the end of their academics.
Community service learning is next on the list. That's when an individual student, group, or a class of students will work on a real-world project for a partner. It's unpaid because students will get academic credit. Sometimes if there's some funding, either through a grant or through the company, students would receive an honoraria or have expenses covered, but typically this is an unpaid experience because students receive academic credit. It's a part-time effort over a shorter period of time, or it's an intense and short burst of activity, typically project-based. An example of that might be at our Thunder Bay campus recently in environmental studies, students went into a natural area in the community and they remediated the area by removing invasive plants as part of their study of ecology and natural ecology. So that would have been a community service project where they were out there in the community working with the city, but on an academic project led by faculty.
And volunteer community service is what you think it is. It's typically unpaid, and then they're working within their passion and then their area. So we do have the opportunity of posting those volunteer positions to the students because oftentimes they're looking for something to keep themselves busy in a field that they want to do. So we have job posting boards that we can post that in.
And then just because work integrated learning and experiential learning can be interchangeably used terms, they are different. We thought we would just emphasize that programs all have experiential learnings. That's hands-on applied education led by faculty, can be a capstone project. So even where there might be some information drawn from industry used in the classroom, if it's led by the faculty and there isn't an immersive or extended experience in the workplace, we usually consider that experiential learning. Clear as mud, hey?
All right, yeah, we got all the definitions down.
We did it, yeah. I think this is programs and partnerships. So we're going to take some turns now talking a little bit about the different programs available at Georgian College and Lakehead University and how you can partner with us either as part of those programs or otherwise.
At Georgian College, we have 13 academic areas, and within those academic areas, we have a number of positions. For instance, business management, there's accounting, human resources, entrepreneurship, marketing. We've got not only the diploma programs, but we do have an honors bachelor's of business administration as well. Community safety, computer studies, there's a number of programs here too. There's computer programming, computer programmer analyst, network technicians. So if there's anybody on the call that's interested in some of these program areas, we do really break them down into further program areas. And one that I work in is the engineering. I know there was a previous question before it came before this meeting today, but the engineering and environmental technologies, we have a number of programs there, such as architecture, civil engineering, environmental, electrical, electromechanical is one of our newer programs as well. So a combination of mechanical, computers, and electrical. And then power engineering out of our Owen Sound campus as well. And then we have a machining, one of the largest machine shops in Ontario too.
So Lakehead has 9 different faculty areas, and on this slide, I'm just presenting the program areas that are in Simcoe County. So we have within Lakehead Aurelia everything from anthropology through environmental sustainability and social work, political science, psychology. When we look at this program list, the asterisk represents programs that have an official cooperative work experience. In business, students can come out of accounting or marketing, and they can do up to 12 months of co-op full-time work experience. In computer science, we also have up to 12 months of co-op. And then when it comes to environmental sustainability, electrical engineering, and some of our mechatronics engineering programs, those co-ops can go up to 16 months. And then programs like education, of course, have a full-time practicum component in the classroom. We also have in media communications, media, film, and communications, and more of a placement program that's a 6-week paid experience that students can optionally take. And at Lakehead, these work experience, they are optional with the exception of mechatronics that has 1 4-month work term required. Students can elect to extend their time with us by participating in co-op. And I'll just also mention that we're continuing with those students in Lakehead Georgian programs. Some of them are in Barrie campus and others are at the Lakehead Aurelia campus. And we are looking forward to 2026 when we're going to be expanding our engineering offerings in this region. Currently, most of our engineering programs are out of the Thunder Bay campus, but we do have all the engineerings, software engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, and electrical.
And another way you can partner with the college, not only if you're interested in hiring a student on one of the various WIL sort of work integrated learning components, obviously there's the research and innovation part that both Georgian and Lakehead offer. The way that the research and innovation works is you can put a project portfolio together and then submit it to our research and innovation department. Industry in Georgian, we've got, we'll take the industry expertise, the Georgian College expertise, whether that's through some of the technology that we've got on campus or with the students that are specialized in certain areas. We'll help you go through the applied R&D that's required. So access to funding, and then there's resources on top of that from an ongoing perspective that we can do. And then some of the applied research themes would be prototyping. So that's maybe in a manufacturing setting, installing 5.0 products, process development, digital actual process simulation, and then advanced technology manufacturing. The other side is more web development. So if you're looking at digital innovations, initiatives, there's analytics, artificial intelligence, immersive technologies that our students and faculty can support. And then thriving communities as well. That's more from social services, interprofessional healthcare practices, mental health practices, and inclusion and belonging. And then this more from a partnership perspective on partnering with the college would be from our advancement and alumni department. So if you are looking to contribute, we have named scholarships, awards, and bursaries, the highest priority needs. So we will prioritize, so if there's emergency bursaries that require, so the Georgian Food Locker, we even have a clothing locker as well, and any sort of emergent department needs that students require. those contributions are very helpful for supporting them. Capital support, obviously, we're always growing and looking at naming buildings after certain organizations. So that's always something that happens, and then sponsorship too. So we do have the Georgian College Golf Classic, and then that's every couple of years, and then the Georgian College Gala happens every November. So send it over to Jessica.
Thanks, Brett. If anybody wants to name a building, just wanted to let you know that opportunity is available at Lakehead as well.
Yeah.
So just reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Anyway, at Lakehead, as at Georgian, we have a very well supported research and innovation team, and we can provide support to faculty expertise and research funds connected to research and development for challenges you might be facing. And an example of that could be perhaps you're considering expanding into a new market or building a new product, but you're not sure how it would compete. We can work with you to apply for something like the business internship through MyTex, which would provide you with a short period of time, both a faculty member and a student who would work with you on that project, do the scan for you, provide you with a report that can help you inform your business direction. There's usually a matching element when it comes to the MyTex grant specifically. Industry provides some funding, and then the funder, the federal funder or the funding agency provides the other half, and then you get access both to faculty and students. So whether you're working at Georgian or with Lakehead, you can have that support for your growth needs. And I think that is something that's not always well understood by industry, and both the college and the university love to work with industry in that way. So just reach out to us. If you're curious about any of those opportunities at Lakehead, your contact is my colleague, Rebecca Heffernan. And if you're not sure if it's an employment related thing or a research related thing, you can contact me and I'll help point you in the right direction. Some of the agencies that we work with frequently at Lakehead are NSERC, SHRC, OCI, MyTex, and CIHR. So lots of expertise. And in this region, we also have experts in tactile robotics, artificial intelligence, health sciences, environmental sciences. In Thunder Bay, we also have access to experts in agriculture and aerospace stuff, drones. So the list goes on. And I'm not the researcher. Rebecca knows way more about it than I do. We also have within Lakehead's services to community, our community engagement and lifelong learning group. And so we do some things together with Georgian, like the Executive Leadership Development Program, which is a really great experience for senior level managers. We also offer continuous ongoing education for folks in the community through third age learning. We offer the Ontario Master Naturalists Program, which is a micro-certificate experience, and we do customized corporate training. And so if you're interested in exploring some of your ongoing development needs in your workplace, you could reach out to our director, Nikki Locker, at sal@lakeheadu.ca.
Thanks, Jessica. And that's a good point. We do also have corporate training and development as well at Georgian that can definitely point you in the right direction for anything locally that way. Other employer services that we offer.
All right. So yeah, at both institutions, we basically offer the same thing. So Brett and I just kind of slapped both logos up on this sheet. If you have questions about how to meet a workforce need, you can call us and we will offer you a 30-minute or more virtual or telephone or in-person onboarding meeting where we explore your needs as a workplace and explore the ways to best connect you for the challenges that you're facing. We both offer a job posting service, which is free to participating employers. At Lakehead, it's mysuccess.lakeheadu.ca. You can create an account there. Our team will review it. And once we confirm that you are a real person, we'll put you into the system. You can post jobs on demand, extend them. And the same thing is available at Georgian. It's called Georgian Connects, and the link to that system is on the slide. We both offer career fairs and networking events where you can engage with students on campus and get to know them better and tell them about your own workplace as a potential career destination. And we offer opportunities for ongoing professional development and learning. We know many small business owners are doing everything all themselves, and it can be helpful to talk with other professionals and business owners about your human resources needs. We both offer some version of Research and Innovation Week at Lakehead that takes place in March. It's a great chance for you to come on campus and learn about some of the cool activities that are going on here. And we also at Lakehead offer PD connected to human resources topics. So recently, and there's a picture on this slide at the bottom left, we brought in an equity, diversity, and inclusion expert to talk about accessibility in the office, given that there is an increasing number of people entering the workforce who have invisible disabilities. And so we talked about what that looks like, and we brought some students who are registered with student accessibility together with some employers who wanted to learn more about that. And we held a networking night after we did some basic foundational PD around types of invisible disabilities and what that shows up like when it comes to accessible workplaces. And I see that Brett has included Change the Now. Brett, do you want to chat a little bit about that one?
Sure. Well, this is Joanne Foxton on the call here. So she's the manager of Change the Now, and it's a wonderful department that really does connect community and I'm going to get it wrong, but the pillars of, help me out, Joanne.
Hey, I can totally jump in.
Yeah.
At the essence of everything, Change the Now is an experiential learning opportunity for students and industry partners and community and faculty to practice change making. A change maker is somebody who sees opportunity for something better in the world and takes action towards making that happen. So very much like the community service learning projects that we talked about in the previous slides for types of will, students can engage in Change the Now, work on projects or campaigns where we're creating a movement towards changing something in the world, directly related to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Change the Now has the capacity to engage co-op students, internship students, field placement students, because we can wrap our innovation programming around almost any program. So it's just the depth of innovation and change making that students and industry and community can participate in. So we could be a 1-hour workshop, or we could be a 14-week experiential learning or work integrated learning piece. So really cool way. I know it takes time for students and everybody to wrap their head around what they're doing. It's a feel good, and we look at things like systems change, policy change, human-centered design thinking to really create shift in our communities. And I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Joanne. I was going to say it a little better, but that was good.
All good.
Awesome. So I'll just go on and I'll just say so if you're ever struggling with something and you're not sure where the sources of support are, no pressure, all open invitation, give us a call. So sometimes we'll have people who have questions about how to hire international students. At Lakehead, we have a registered immigration consultant who can assist with some of those questions. So I'd be a great first call, and then I can make ongoing referrals for folks, whatever they require. And I know similar services are offered by Brett and his team at Georgian. So don't hesitate to call us. We are here to serve the community, and we really want to help solve those needs because they're good for everyone. And then, of course, support for funding applications and other partnership opportunities that I think Brett has the next topic to. I think, Brett, you have the next one on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is, there's 4 here kind of bulleted, but kind of the major ones, but there's a ton of different funding opportunities, and we have a document put together that if anybody wants it, can share it. Summer job service is one of the funding opportunities for those summer students. Be posting those in January for those summer students. 75% of the provincial minimum wage will be covered as a grant. The SWPP is a student work placement program. WillWorks and electricity HR is just a couple. So one's manufacturing, one's for the electrical field. However, I think there's about 15 or 16 different service providers that really do niche whatever program or industry you're in. And then there's the tax benefit as well, refundable tax credit for up to $3,000. And then the college and university issues you a letter once that work term has completed on a co-op. So just some of the options too, if it can be expensive to hire a student and teach them and everything else. So take advantage of those programs if you can.
All right, we have some events coming up.
So the first event at Georgian College we have will be Thursday, February 13th, and then that's going to happen in the gymnasium. And then we typically get about 1,500 students, and we have space for about 73 employers within that. So it is a busy period it goes from 10 until 2. And then those employers that do sign up, lunch is provided and parking, security, and the event itself. So you get a lot of exposure to a lot of students. So the Thursday one is typically open. We actually on the first day, which would be Wednesday, February 12th, not listed here, but we do have Connect to Careers. That is a hospitality and tourism job fair. So we do back them for Wednesday, Thursday dates, and then we have the event go quite I would say about 2,000 to 2,500 students will be going both of those days.
That's incredible. You're talking those numbers. At Lakehead's Aurelia campus, we have about 2,200 students total across multiple programs. So when you come to our career fair on Monday, January 27th, you'll see several hundred students, not usually all several thousand. You'll see the ones who are most engaged in looking for their summer and their graduating class. So that'll be just those keeners who are coming out, and we have smaller numbers than Georgian. So you're going to see thousands of keeners over at Georgian. So not to misspeak, we're just a smaller community in Aurelia. So it takes place as I mentioned on the 27th. It's from 10 to 2. And if you're interested in coming out to that event, please reach out to me as soon as you can, because we are nearly full. We are a smaller building also here, so we can fit 26 employers, and right now we're sitting at around 23 confirmed tables. So just a few more spots. If you're interested, reach out. And I've provided my contact information here, and Brett's is there as well. And also a landing page for you if you want to go and explore Lakehead's career services in a little bit more detail.
Okay, we're at that time of day.
Thank you. That was fantastic. So much information packed within the hour. So appreciate all of that summary, and certainly we'll share all those slides for people to reference afterwards. So just a reminder now that you can submit your questions through the chat or use the raise your hand feature. We did have a few questions shared in advance, and so we're going to start things off that way. But as we proceed for the next 10 minutes, please feel free to use that chat function or raise your hand. So the first question we had is, how do you attract and retain a younger audience or younger students? This organization specifically has room for electrical and millwright apprenticeships, job placements, and how do we get students to attract them here?
I can take this, Jessica, or yeah. So the best way to attract the students is connect with myself. So that'd be my academic area that I can support with electrical, millwright, and even apprentice type students. The greatest success we see when employers are having great retention and are recruiting, they contact our department regularly. So they typically hire every semester. They get in front of the students, they build a rapport with them, and then it kind of creates a frenzy for the students. They start talking amongst themselves. Are you going to work at ABC company? I'm really trying to get in there. It is a bit of a reputation thing for employers, and then being flexible. We're seeing that the younger students are looking for that flexibility, maybe work hours, as long as the work is getting done in the time that we're seeing. But the corporate culture internally is what we're saying as probably the best bet to attract those students. But come on campus. We're happy to give tours. We love giving tours of the facility, and you get in front of the students and kind of pitch your organization as an employer that's looking to hire both maybe co-op or even apprentice.
If I could add to that, I think in addition to everything that Brett said, connect with the university and with the college, come on campus, be patient and generous with your time when students ask questions, because they may not know everything that that we would like them to know eventually. But even more than that, in your job postings and how you describe the work, be very clear about the wages that are being offered, super transparent about that. Be really clear about any opportunities for ongoing and on-the-job training and education that can happen for students. A lot of them sometimes will look at a list of job requirements and they'll see 10 things on the list, and they've only got 7, and they don't know actually that they can take a swing at something when they have 7 of 10. So if you are in a situation where you're willing to take a very motivated and skillful person and train them up in the areas that they might be lacking, put that right into the job description and let them know that they can apply if they have some but not all of the desired characteristics. So as transparent as you can be, and as open as you can be about your willingness to take a learner. I think that will help you attract and if the processes are really in place, you will then be able to retain someone who's at the beginning of their career and is looking for a safe and supportive place to start.
That's great. Great recommendation. So transparency and then also building your reputation. Can you share some examples of successful partnerships with Georgian College and Lakehead University? And I imagine this is coming from like successful industry partnerships.
Do you want me to start, Brett? And
Sure.
then, okay,
Sure.
So Lakehead has more than 4,000 different employer partners in our database. So we have lots of different partnerships, and they look different according to the industry and the length of time we've been working together. I think the one that stands out for me that I'll talk about here is one where there's a very large employer connected to cyber systems, information technology and security, and they are Open Text. And I'm mentioning them because they're also on our website. You can read more about them. Open Text recognized that in their field, in computer sciences and in IT, they have representation challenges. So there's not a very diverse, there weren't a very diverse number of people working for the organization, and they were working really thoughtfully on belonging and inclusion at work. And they wanted to attract more Indigenous people, especially, to build the future of computer sciences. And so they reached out to us several years ago to ask what we felt would be important in a relationship. And Lakehead has a high number of Indigenous and Métis and Inuit students within our student body. And in consultation with Indigenous Student Services and with Career Services, they developed an internship program where they make a certain number of internships available to students who identify as Indigenous or Métis or Inuit every year. And they're really open to what program the students begin in. And they provide on the spot, on the job training for those students to expose them to different facets of their very complex, very large information technology company. So they provided not just the opportunity to apply for those jobs, but once the students were selected, they sent them out the technology that they needed so that the students can work remotely from their home communities, which was important for them culturally in the summertime. And then they provided like a whole program of onboarding and leadership development and training so that once a week, the cohort of Indigenous interns got together to talk about their work experiences and receive mentorship from others in the community, the workplace community. So it was a really good example of a partner that identified a problem with their industry and then really listened to what the students and the Indigenous Services team were outlining as important in order to allow those students to explore an opportunity to be part of a change within that industry, but in a way that still gave them lots of support and opportunities to learn. So we had students coming from social services programs learning about human resources within tech. And we had students in engineering and software engineering getting directly relevant roles connected to their program. So both directly relevant roles and transferable skills, and those positions were held for Lakehead University because there was such an affinity between what our goals were and what the workplace's goals were with Open Text. So that's a great example of a deep partnership. And then on a softer level, it can also just look like a local employer reaching out and saying they were struggling to reach students, and then we would create an info session for them as a starting point, right? So starting at any point allows you to build the partnership in a way that's meaningful for both the university students or the industry partner. That's a lot of rambling, so I'll stop there. Brett?
No, that's good. Well, I'm going to echo the same thing. You know, we we do the similar services, so you can come in, we can set you up a booth as an employer, and then you can meet with the students as they walk to and from down the halls. We can also, we do have some examples such as Magna, Honda, Toronto Hydro are some of our biggest supporters, and so we partner with them, and there's an expectation that we provide, high quality students for their particular needs, and then they provide the on-the-job training for the students as well. But we also have, for instance, Honda. We have a Honda Learn by Doing lab right on campus, where Honda may have a problem with an assembly line, or they've troubleshooting something, and then they can tap into the students that are doing a project. So I believe that's one of the questions as well, is they're looking at maybe what sort of project based or what kind of employment engagement can excuse me, got a tickle in my throat, can connect with the college, but it can be a capstone project, or it could be a Learn by Doing, where students are getting that hands-on learning experience. Over to you, Jessica.
Okay. Just picking up on that, when someone wants to explore a capstone project or suggest something for a course to work on, I'm a good first call. So just give me a call, tell me about the thing that you're thinking about. And usually my questions will be around why we're thinking it's a project approach as opposed to a worker approach. I might do a little bit of just sense checking exploration with you to understand the reasons and the motivation for why you might want to access a class instead of a dedicated or employee or researcher approach. When it really is a class project, that works well when you have at the university anyway, when you have more flexibility with respect to the timelines that you're looking to get those ideas, when you don't need a really concrete deliverable, but you want a set of opportunities and ideas to explore to maybe get some ideas flowing on a challenge or a complex problem. And then after we have that conversation and I kind of do a little bit of verification that your idea would be a good project or capstone, I'll connect you with the appropriate faculty member. We'll then explore when the next course is that would be tackling the sorts of skills and subject matter expertise that are connected to your industry or your program. So it's good if you have that kind of idea for Lakehead, at least. If you don't need the solution or the class assignment to be handed in like the next week, give us maybe 6 to 12 months on that, and then we're more able to set you up. So where you have a more time-sensitive project-based issue, that's when it might be more of a research and innovation approach, because you can be on some more tight timelines there, some closer windows. And the classwork stuff, because it's connected to student learning, is a little bit more flexible and a little bit more organic, but always really interesting, and I think worth your patience in approach. It's just a little bit less of a product and more of an experience, if I can put it that way.
That's great. Thank you. I think what I've learned from working with both Georgian and Lakehead, that there's so many different pathways of support. I think in really connecting with you, Brett, or Jessica afterwards, just to understand those opportunities and timelines and everything is like great to have that initial point of connection. So last question, just for wrapping up the hour here, is how can businesses ensure that their talent acquisition strategies align with the evolving needs and expectations of students and grads?
I guess do you want to go ahead, Brett, or did you want me to?
No, go ahead, Jessica, if you want.
I think just talk to students and talk to Brett and myself. Tell us, so when you're talking about how to make sure your expectations align with those of students and grads, I mean, there's great information that folks in career services at different post-secondary institutions have as a result of our own ongoing research into student interests and attitudes. We can share some of that information with you when you give us a call, but you can also come on campus and sense check some of your ideas. Talk to students in these events and networking opportunities. And listen to what they tell you. I think the best way to stay aligned is to stay in touch.
Yeah, and to echo that, it's a great question, because I don't have the answer for it, but because each student is different, and the expectations of the students, I think, when going into the industry, really it is just chatting with them, seeing what they're looking for. Each student is different, and trust me, I've been doing it for a little while. That when you think one tactic works for one student, it may not work for the other one. So I would always recommend coming on campus and speaking to the students. We do, it's called co-op hour, and oftentimes we'll do it in employer expectations, and that's kind of expectations on both sides of the engagement. So you get to sense check, like Jessica said, the students and what they're looking for, and you can also kind of display what you're looking for in a student as well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that. And just to echo that, I think both Georgian College and Lakehead University are really experts in this field. You're working with students day in, day out for years and have that expertise. So again, would recommend connecting with you. So thank you everybody for attending today's session. A couple things to note before we close the session is that a survey will be sent by email along with the recording for the session and a copy of the presentation and slide deck. So a lot of information coming your way. If you're interested in learning more about Ask an Expert series, tongue twister, information can be found at edo.simcoe.ca. Again, much thanks to Brett and Jessica for your time, your insights, your expertise today, and to all of our partners involved in making these sessions in the County of Simcoe a success. Wishing everybody a fantastic rest of the week, and take care. Thanks for joining.